Hello friends, I Reena Patil on behalf of Ecumentis Valencia and Divine Magic Foundation. Once again welcome all of you for yet another episode of web series on topic nutrition and iron deficiency anemia. I also welcome Dr. Payal Bhargava, an eminent gynecologist from Hyderabad, who is also a co-founder of Divine Magic Foundation, the organizer of today's webinar. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you,
Viewers,
Reena.
Viewers, iron deficiency anemia continues to be a major public health problem in India. It is estimated that about 20% of maternal deaths are directly related to anemia. And however, the iron deficiency can be taken care by iron-rich food and the supplements clubbed with the other medical interventions. Now I request Dr. Payal Bhargava to further enlighten us on the subject. Ma'am, please take over. Thank you so much.
Iron deficiency anemia is one of the most severe and important nutritional deficiencies in the world today. Every age group is vulnerable. Iron deficiency impairs the cognitive development of children from infancy to adolescence. It damages immune mechanism and is associated with increased morbidity rates. During pregnancy, iron deficiency is associated with multiple adverse outcomes for both mother and infant, including an increased risk of hemorrhage, sepsis, maternal mortality, perinatal mortality, and low birth weight. It is estimated that nearly all women are to some degree iron deficient and that more than half of the pregnant women in developing countries suffer from anemia. Even in industrialized countries, the iron stores of most pregnant women are considered to be deficient. Finally, as much as a 30% impairment of physical work capacity and performance is reported in iron deficient men and women.
Ma'am, how is iron deficiency anemia, defined, or what is iron deficiency anemia?
Anemia is a condition in which the number of red blood cells or the hemoglobin concentration within them is lower than normal. Hemoglobin is needed to carry oxygen, and if you have too few or abnormal red blood cells or not enough hemoglobin, there will be a decreased capacity of the blood to carry oxygen to the body's tissues. The optimal hemoglobin concentration needed to meet physiologic needs varies by age, sex, smoking habits, and pregnancy status.
Ma'am, how do we define iron deficiency anemia?
As I said, it varies according to the age and sex. In children between the age of 6 to 59 months, the normal range is 110 or higher. Mild anemia is between 100 to 109, moderate between 70 to 99, and severe is lower than 70. In the children age group 5 to 11 years of age, non-anemia is 115 or higher, mild is between 110 to 114, and so on and so forth. The mild is a misnomer here as iron deficiency is already advanced by the time anemia is detected. The deficiency has consequences even when no anemia is clinically apparent.
Ma'am, how common is anemia in our country as per the global data available with us?
So in the Indian scenario, as per the National Family Health Survey 4, in India, the prevalence of anemia was found to be 55.2% in non-pregnant women, 57.9% in pregnant women, and 55.3% in all women. India leads the race in terms of number of anemic individuals.
Ma'am, why anemia is so prevalent in our country?
In Indian women are anemic to start with. There is a vicious circle where poverty and malnutrition leads to early marriage, poor spacing of kids, which leads to anemic mothers, which further leads to anemic infants and children, and there's parasite infestations, which again leads to poverty and malnutrition. Thus, an Indian girl invariably enters her reproductive career in an iron depleted state.
Ma'am,
Now,
what are the risk factors for developing anemia?
the risk factors for developing anemia in women of the reproductive age, which is signified by WRA, have nutritional deficiencies, especially iron. There's blood loss in menses, malaria infestation, pregnancy, multiple pregnancies in short birth intervals, and helminthiasis infestation. In children, there are nutritional deficiencies, especially iron. There's rapid growth, maternal anemia, malaria, helminthiasis, and hemoglobin disorders. Whereas in adolescents, there are nutritional deficiencies, again, especially iron, menstrual losses in girls, overweight and obesity, malaria, helminthiasis, and chronic diseases. Underlying determinants of all this is socioeconomic status and environmental factors.
Ma'am, what are the symptoms of anemia?
In mild anemia, usually there are no symptoms. In moderate anemia, it leads to weakness, fatigue, exhaustion, loss of appetite, indigestion, giddiness, and breathlessness. Severe anemia leads to palpitation where you can hear your own heartbeat. There's tachycardia, that is very fast beating of heart. Breathlessness is there, increased cardiac output, congestive heart failure, and there's generalized swelling of the body and pulmonary edema, which may lead to death of the mother.
Ma'am, how anemia affects an adolescent, a mother, and her baby?
Effect of anemia on adolescent, it leads to impaired cognitive functioning and memory of the kid. There's decreased academic performance, compromised growth and development, increased lead and cadmium absorption, increased risk of pregnancy complications, including prematurity and fetal growth retardation. There's decreased working capacity and depressed immune function. Coming to the fetus, there are neural tube defects, especially due to folate deficiency. Miscarriages are there, IUGR or low birth weight, prematurity, anemia in infancy, and intrauterine fetal death can also occur. Whereas in the mother, there is susceptibility to infections, heart decompensation and heart failure, which may lead to death of the mother, preterm labor and preterm delivery, postpartum hemorrhage, mental lassitude and loss of working hours, and death.
Ma'am, what can we do to prevent anemia?
So in today's discussion, we are mainly going to focus on the nutrition of an anemic patient. A diet for iron deficiency anemia should include iron, building foods, and vitamin C. As we go further in our presentation, we will see why vitamin C is a must for iron absorption. There are two types of iron available, heme and non-heme. A heme iron is that iron that comes from animal sources. It occurs in oysters, red meat, poultry, beef liver, and fish like sardines. Consists of a heme protein attached to the iron, and absorption rate is very high. Whereas the non-heme iron, it comes from the plant sources. It occurs in beans, nuts, lentils, green leafy vegetables such as spinach and pumpkin seeds, does not contain a heme protein attached to the iron, and absorption rate is comparatively low. Now coming to the non-vegetarian or the heme iron, first in the list is red meat. If you are trying to increase iron intake fast, then red meat is the most obvious first choice. While some other foods have a higher amount of iron per serving, red meat stands out because it is so easily accessible. Organ meats. Eating organs like liver or kidney isn't the most appealing idea to many. Yet, organ meats are a concentrated source of nutrients, more so than the rest of the animal's flesh. For example, A 3-ounce serving of beef liver contains 5 milligrams of iron, which is higher than many other sources of iron. Chicken liver is even more powerful as an iron source. In contrast, cuts of beef tend to contain around 2 milligram or 3 milligram of iron per serving instead. Coming to turkey, the iron content varies depending on the part of the turkey that you are eating. Dark turkey meat contains close to twice the amount of iron that light turkey meat, so bear that in mind when you are sitting down for a meal. Chicken and turkey have similar amounts of iron. The two types of meat have comparable advantages too. The biggest difference may simply be that chicken is often relatively inexpensive. The mild flavor of chicken also means that it can be used in countless meals. All types of shellfish are high in iron. However, the nutritional profile will be different depending on the shellfish that you choose. Mussels and oysters are especially good choices. You can also turn to clams. Clams are often high in iron, but the amount varies depending on the type of clam. Eggs, which are very commonly used in our diet, eggs are decent sources of iron, offering you roughly 1 milligram of iron per serving. This is admittedly less than some other items on this list, but the iron content does still add up. Eggs are also easy to add to your diet. There are many ways to prepare them, some of which take barely any time at all. You're getting many other nutrients at the same time too. Now, the fish is extremely healthy. Recommendations still suggest we should be eating at least one serving of fish per week, if not more. The main reason is the omega-3 fatty acids that are found in fish. These have important health implications, and other compounds simply don't have the same impact. Improved brain health, cognition, and decreased risk of depression are just some of the potential benefits of eating fish regularly. Then there are all other nutrients in fish, including iron. The amount of iron varies depending on the type of fish. Sardines and tuna are particularly good choices. Moving over to non-heme iron, dark leafy vegetables like coriander, spinach offer many essential nutrients and are often considered a key part of a healthy diet. The iron content is a crucial aspect of this. In fact, spinach is often recommended as a way to increase iron intake, and with 3 milligrams of iron per half cup serving, it's easy to see why. Despite the many advantages of dark leafy vegetables, they shouldn't be relied on too heavily as a source of iron. Some compounds present inhibit the absorption of iron, so you won't get as much iron from your greens as you might expect. You can increase iron absorption by eating foods high in vitamin C at the same time as your iron containing foods. A glass of orange juice would work as well. Next in the list is broccoli. Broccoli offers roughly 1 milligram of iron in a cup serving. This might not sound like much, but it is still more iron than many other vegetables. Besides, you don't need to get all your iron in one place. Having many different sources of iron ends up being more powerful in the end, as each source has its own nutritional advantages. With broccoli, you are also getting a surprising amount of vitamin C. The vitamin C is good for you in its own right and also helps you to absorb the iron. There is fiber present too, along with beneficial plant-based compounds. Tofu is particularly popular among vegetarians and vegans, as it provides a non-animal source of protein. As for iron, a half cup serving of tofu provides almost 3.5 grams of iron. Quinoa, this seed is often called a superfood. Despite being a seed, it is cooked and served like a grain, earning it the title pseudo-cereal. Quinoa is easy to prepare. The seed is simply boiled for around 15 minutes, generally with a ratio of 1 cup quinoa to 2 cups liquid. 1 cup of cooked quinoa provides a little under 3 milligrams of iron. Quinoa is also high in protein and is a better source of antioxidants than many grains. Because quinoa is so nutritious, it is often used instead of rice as a side dish. Quinoa salads are another way to enjoy the seed. Legumes are a reliable source of iron for vegetarians and vegans. Beans are a common choice as they store easily and can be cooked in many ways. While the iron content will vary depending on the type of bean that you choose, you are often looking at around 10% of your daily intake from half a cup of cooked beans. This works out well as beans are easy to include in meals. There's no shortage of variety either. Black beans, kidney beans, navy beans, and pinto beans are just some examples of beans that you might turn to. These are all a good source of fiber and protein too, helping to create a satisfying meal all around. Lentils are another classic choice by people who hope to increase their nutrient intake. Their iron content is one reason that lentils are popular. A cup of cooked lentils offer more than 6 milligrams of iron, giving you roughly a third of your recommended daily intake. There are other advantages too, as lentils are high in protein and fiber. This makes them filling and perfect for anyone trying to lose weight. Coming to nuts, pistachio, almonds, and cashew nuts are by far the best type of nut for iron. They contain around 14 milligrams of iron per 100 grams of nuts, which is a far more than any other kind of nut. Pistachios also happen to taste delicious. They are full of protein and healthy fats as well, making them an ideal snack. Pumpkin seeds are an easy and delicious snack on to go. A 1 ounce serving of the seeds provides around 14% of the suggested daily intake of iron, which is impressive for such a small amount. You are getting a considerable amount of magnesium per serving too, not to mention the protein and antioxidants. Dried apricot are also very rich in iron. Vitamin C improves non-heme iron absorption. To help extract the most amount of iron out of a food, it is advisable to eat it along with something high in vitamin C, such as oranges, lemons, broccoli, leafy greens, melon, kiwi, peppers, strawberry, and tomato. The heme iron found in meat and animal products is generally more easily absorbed by the human body than the non-heme iron found in plants. How you prepare food and which food you eat together can affect how much iron your body absorbs. For this reason, the recommended daily intake of iron is 1.8 times higher for vegetarians and vegans than those who eat meat. This amounts to approximately 14 milligrams per day for men and postmenopausal women, 32 milligrams per day for menstruating women, and 49 milligrams per day for pregnant women. However, there are various strategies that can be employed to increase the body's ability to absorb non-heme iron. Here are the best researched methods. Eat vitamin C rich food. Consuming vitamin C rich foods together with foods rich in non-heme iron may increase the absorption of iron by up to 300%. Avoid coffee and tea with meals. Drinking coffee and tea with meals can reduce iron absorption by 50 to 90%. Soak, sprout, and ferment. Soaking, sprouting, and fermenting grains and legumes can improve iron absorption by lowering the amount of phytates naturally present in these foods, which hinder iron absorption. Use a cast iron pan. Foods prepared in a cast iron pan tend to provide 2 to 3 times more iron as those prepared in non-iron cookware. Consume lysine-rich foods. Consuming plant foods like legumes and quinoa that are rich in the amino acid lysine together with your iron-rich meals may increase iron absorption. According to age and whether or not they are pregnant or nursing. So we have a chart here showing what is the daily requirement of iron according to your age and sex. So infants in the age group 7 to 12 months require 11 milligrams of iron per day. Children in the age group 1 to 13 years require 8 to 10 iron milligram per day. Boys in the age group 14 to 18 years require 11 grams. Girls in the age group 14 to 18 years require 15. Women in the age group 19 to 50 years require 18. Pregnant women require 27. Breastfeeding women between 9 to 10. And women over 50 years require 8 grams, and men over 19 years require 8 milligrams of iron per day. Now we have two charts here with heme and non-heme iron preparation, that is showing the serving size and the iron content of the dish. So you can accordingly go through this chart and prepare the amount of iron required for you to be taken for your particular age and for your kids. So coming to the take-home message, anemia can be managed through proper diet and iron supplementation. To prevent anemia, increase the intake of green leafy vegetables and fruits. Encourage adolescents, particularly those with risk factors for iron deficiency anemia, to follow dietary strategies as discussed. Women and menstruating young girls need to be made aware regarding a diet rich in iron and the benefits associated with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an in-depth, discussion on iron, and particularly, you have emphasized on diet, which is rich in iron, and how it should be taken. What are the guidelines, and the bifurcation, even for between vegetarian and non-vegetarian, that has made it much more enriching experience, ma'am. Thank you so much.